Welcome back to the final part of our Gran Turismo experiment on our quest to find what is the best manufacturer to choose before this Saturday's new season begins. We have gone through the ringer the last couple of days testing cars. We've probably spent 15 hours just testing the cars. It's been a lot of fun, it's been very tiring, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying this mini series, I guess, and really looking forward to seeing your reactions on the top 25. Now, the reason why it's 25 is that there are 25 manufacturers. Yes, there are more cars, but the way that we've done it, taking the points from the Group 3, taking the points from the Group 4, choosing the best car. So, for example, the Peugeot has 2 cars, but one of the cars did better, so we're going to take the points from the better car and put it together with its Group 4 counterpart, and that's how we're going to work it out. I would just like to say beforehand, thank you so much for the support and the feedback, the positive feedback for the other 2 videos, and I hope this one does even better than the last 2. One more thing I would like to say before we start is that yes, I'm giving my opinions on the cars, but the way that we have ranked them is based on my driving style. So I personally haven't ranked the cars, so don't get angry at me going, hey, I don't agree with that. It's my driving. I'm sorry I drive the way I do. But without further ado, let's get this started. In 25th and last position is the Honda. I said over the last 2 videos that I've had a problem in learning how to drive the car. It's pretty... I said in the Group 4 that I didn't know whether it was going to oversteer or understeer. It's quite a hard car to learn, I think. I think there's a steep learning curve. I might say that with a couple of cars in this video, but there really is a learning curve with the Honda. Its rear tyres went on lap 5 or 6 in the Group 3, and that's what made it so difficult to drive, and that's why it got so few points. In last position with 38 points, the Honda. In 24th with 49 points is the Dodge. I'm kind of surprised that it wasn't last, seeing how much we've bashed it over the last 2 days. The thing is with the Dodge is that the Group 3 car is actually very fast, but it goes off when you start adding in the tyre wear. A poor manufacturer, and I don't think many people will choose it. If you do choose it, you're obviously just going for that top 10 SS rank. It sits in 24th. Next up, with a big jump to the next points, 76 points, is the Chevrolet, the Corvettes. I'm really disappointed with the Corvette. It's possibly one of my favourite cars on the game to drive as well. They feel really nice, but apparently they're just not fast, and when you put them together, they're just not competitive. You never see in the daily races, or look at that, at the top everyone's using the Corvette. No, you never see a Corvette in there. In fact, I challenge you viewers to get a Corvette in the top 10 lap time of any track in the next couple of weeks. I challenge you. But it's in 23rd, 76 points. There you go. Chevy, you disappoint me. You disappoint me. The first of our Italian stallions, the Ferrari, 77 points, so only just beating the Chevrolet in the points, but again, it's kind of where we expect it to be. Really strong showing from the Group 4 Ferrari, who finished 8th overall, but the tyre wear for the Group 3 sees it way down the list. Obviously, a point about the manufacturer's series is that I think it's basically a 50-50 split between Group 4 races and Group 3 races. So you could just get away with doing, if you were going for points, doing all of the Group 4 races and doing well in there, and just not even doing the Group 3 races. You could do that, I think, but the Group 3 Ferrari is a big thumbs down. I was so positive and I was so excited to see it do well after the promise of the Group 4 in the last week, but it sits in 22nd. I think our biggest surprise so far in today's ranking, in 21st, it's the Audi. Now, yes, okay, a couple of things to mention. The Audi is front-wheel drive in Group 4, and yes, we could play with the brake bias, which would make it faster and less tyre wear. And yes, the Group 3 Audi is phenomenally fast without tyre wear, but when you start putting that tyre wear in, just like the Ferrari, just like the Lambo, it just drops down and becomes very, very difficult to drive. So unfortunately, because we're focusing on tyre wear predominantly in this experiment, it's quite far down the list. Sorry, Tidney, it's in 21st. So the Audi had 79 points, and in 20th with 81 points is the Lamborghini. Once again, just reiterate everything that I said from the Ferrari to the Lamborghini, but muster in the fact that the Group 4 Lamborghini is better than the Group 4 Ferrari. Like I said, if you could do all of the Group 4s, you'd probably be very, very, very successful in the Group 4 Lamborghini, but the Group 3 is very, very, very difficult to handle, especially on tyre wear. Yes, this new manufacturer is supposed to have decreased the tyre wear from the last exhibition series, but yeah, same as the Ferrari. Calster, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you've done it. You're a freaking alien with this car. Freaking hats off to you, sir. In 19th, also with 81 points, is the Ford. This is the Ford Mustang, not the Ford GT40 looking one, and with the same amount of points as the Lamborghini. I feel like this car should be higher. I don't think I had that great a lap with the Group 3 car, but the Group 4 was very underwhelming, and the tyre wear with the Group 3 car, I recall being pretty bad and made it kind of understeery and hard to drive on that tyre wear. There's potential there, I think. There is potential there, but I think you've just got to put in that work to understand how the car drives best. Next up, with 87 points, is Porsche. Now, yes. I can hear the Porsche fanboys screaming out, but it's OP, it's so good. Yes, I get it. But for some reason, it's not. Remember, I've been consistent with all of the cars, and this is where it's ended up. I've said about the Group 4 being unexciting, and I don't like driving it. I think it's a bit of a bore to drive. But if you're looking for consistency, the Porsche is a very, very good bet. I think they must have nerfed the Group 3 Porsche. I thought I had a pretty good lap when I drove the Group 3 car, but it hasn't lived up to its expectation. I think Porsche, in a lot of people's eyes, was going to be higher than 18th, but it just disappointing. We will get onto the positive, the underdog stories pretty soon. We just need to get past this this stage of disappointment. Next up is the Nissan. What can you say about the Nissan? It's just a solid car. I mean, I said how freaking big it is, how boxy it is, the Group 3 version, and I think they drive pretty similar. I think the learning curve of how to drive this car properly is pretty steep once again, but if you put in some time, you can be pretty consistent with it. I think the tyres were a little bit of an issue. It understeers a little bit already, and then when you put that tyre wear in the mix as well, the understeering just gets a little bit worse. So I couldn't feel, I felt like I couldn't push the car on the tyre wear as much as other cars. 88 points, it's in 17th. 93 points is the next manufacturer, and it is the Jaguar. What have we said about the Jaguar already? It's got the power, it's got the potential. I think both Group 4 and Group 3 cars put in really, really fast lap times. But it's the problem with the tyre wear, whether it's just because the car is so freaking heavy and that's why those front tyres just go and then disappear after a couple of laps. I don't know, but real disappointment, just because of the tyre wear. It could do so much more. It's one of these cars that's like, it's so good, but it's just held back by the tyre wear. In 15th, beating the Jaguar by 1 point, is the Peugeot RCZ. The VGT, forget about it, don't even go near it. But this combo of the RCZs could be pretty good. We know that the Group 4 is exceptionally fast in a straight line, so you might have to have a look at what Group 4 races there are and whether or not they're power tracks or whether they're handling tracks. The more straights, the more successful you're going to be in the Peugeot. In regards to the Group 3, I'm not sure how it ranks in top speed, but it's quite good in the corners and it's very nice to drive. So if you're looking for something that doesn't have that insane amount of drama, the Peugeot is actually a really good choice. It sits in 15th, 94 points. Middle of the road. Next up with 99 points is the Aston Martin. Exactly the same story we have with the Jaguar. It's bloody fast. Not so much the Group 4, but the Group 3. It's bloody fast, but the tyre wear ruins it. I mean, with this new manufacturer series and them saying, yeah, we're going to lower the tyre wear a little bit, is there a possibility that this, or the Jaguar now, actually has a chance? I don't know. It's a shame that we haven't had 2-3 weeks to test it out. I would have loved to have done like a video per car, really focused on the tyre wear and the handling and the tyre management and stuff. But we haven't had that much time. They sort of dropped that update and it was like, oh, they've changed a lot. We need to find out what's going on. So that's kind of why these videos have been created. But the Aston, very fast with minimal tyre wear, but as soon as the tyre wear kicks in, quite difficult to handle, and the speed, the lap times really drop off. Just missing out on the 100 bomb, the Aston. In 13th place with 100 is the Citroen. Now the Citroen is here because the Group 3 car was very fast and the Group 4 cars were very good on tyre wear. The GR3 wasn't great on tyres and the Group 4 was the slowest out of all of the cars. So there you go. We're seeing these really nice sort of complementary partnerships between the Group 3 cars and the Group 4 cars. Lamborghini, great Group 4, poor Group 3. This, one is good at tyre wear, one is good at speed. It's a toss-up. All I'm trying to do is give you the information and then you can make that decision yourself. The reason I wouldn't go with Citroen is because it's so freaking big. It's when you're trying to race real close and it's too big. Group 3 you could be competitive with. I think you're only going to be competitive with the Group 4 car if you're going for a non-stopper. It sits in 13th, the middle of the pack. Let's move to the top half. Right, top half then. Has your manufacturer stuck it out? Are they still in contention for the win, or have they finished in the bottom half? Let me know in the comments what you're picking for your manufacturer, if these videos have swayed you in any way, or if they've just if they haven't been any help as well. I mean, you can tell me that as well. Don't tell me that. I'm very fragile mentally. Anyway, in 12th, also with 100 points, is the Subaru. The only reason that I put the Subaru in front of the Citroen is that I believe that the Group 3 and the Group 4 cars complement each other a little bit more. There's less of a gap between the two cars' performances. Like I've said before, the Group 4 is very, I would say, boring, but it's very solid and stable. The Group 3 Subaru has a little bit more danger, and I really like the way that it drives. It's very similar to the Mitsubishi in the fact that Group 4 is exceptionally stable, and the Group 3 is just a more powerful version of it. You know, we see cars that are completely different. For example, the Audi, you know, the Group 4 is so different from the Group 3. But in the Mitsubishi and the Subaru's case, they're very similar. But it's not surprising to see it in the top half. I think quite a few people should choose it because it is very, very solid. But the Subaru, 100 points. But here we go in 11th. Renault. Now we saw in the Group 4 that the Renault Megane Trophy actually came in first position, getting it around 67 points, I think. But the Renault Group 3 car was very, very disappointing. I said it in the Group 3 video that I was expecting a lot more. It drives really, really well, and maybe on the medium and the hard tyre it's better, but on those softs, when it got to lap 5 and 6, the rear tyres were just shredded. Yes, we can play with the brake bias. So I think if you did everything perfect, I think Renault would be right up the top there, in the top 5, purely because it would be strong in both categories. Yes, the Group 4 Renault isn't fast in a straight line, but my God, it's good at saving tyres, and it's really, really good in the corners. Renault, serious underdog. Serious underdog. So here we go, top 10. In 10th place with 105 points is the VW Beetle. Not the GTI. The GTI was trash. The VW Beetle. The Beetle really surprised me. It was really good on tyres, and we know that the Beetle is very stable, and it's very, very fast. I'm not sure what it is on fuel. Like all of these cars, I'm not sure on the fuel consumption of any of them really, but the Group 3, very, very fast. The Group 4 Volkswagen, the Scirocco, I think if you manage it right, if you get the brake bias to the back and you drive smoothly, I think you can work with it, and I think it can be very, very fast. I don't think it's as aggressive on the tyres as the TT or the Megane, so I think you could be pretty successful with Volkswagen. Is it an underdog again, like the Renault? I think big things could be done with VW. I don't think many people are going to pick it, but the Yeetle into the top 10. Yeetle! Next up, the 2016 version of the Lexus. We saw the Lexus was the fastest around the Nürburgring, and it was really, really good on the tyres, I think. I was expecting the Group 3 Lexus to be really poor on tyres, but it was actually pretty good and consistent when driving on the worn tyres as well. Unfortunately, it is coupled with the car that has the worst tyre wear in the Group 4. So there you go, there is your balance. You have speed, you have consistency, but it's matched up with absolute garbage on the tyres. And the thing is as well that when the tyres are good on the Group 4 Lexus, it's actually quite fast itself. But there we go. Do you risk it? Do you go, I'm going to be successful with the Group 3, but then struggle every Group 4 race? But with the new tyre wear multipliers coming in for this manufacturer's season, is that gamble worth the risk? In 8th position with 111 points is the McLaren. This is really surprising to me. I felt that the McLaren would be way further down, but apparently the last couple of updates have done the McLaren the world of good. It's not the fastest, it was pretty mid-pack on lap times for both classes, but it is very consistent. Really surprised me in the Group 3 on tyre wear and how it drove on the tyre wear. It was insane. I think it was the most consistent car to drive on tyre wear, maybe out of both groups. We're taking obviously the aliens like the Citroen and the Alpha and the Megane Trophy out of it, but out of everyone else, I think that it was really, really, really good on the tyres. I can't really remember how the Group 4 was, but it's done really well to get to 8th position. The McLaren, if you want a challenge, because it's not an easy car to drive either. I think you have to put in some time to learn it. But if you want a challenge, go with McLaren. In 7th, a very, very, very fast and stable car, the Toyota. So this is the Toyota FT1, not the Supra. I'm still confused at how the Supra did so bad for me. But anyway, we're here to talk about the FT1 and the 86. The 86 obviously very good on tyre wear and it's very consistent. That's why the Group 4 car is very good. The Toyota FT1 very fast in the straight line, and it's fast in the corners. I think the tyre wear was okay. I think it was just above average, but I think this is a very solid manufacturer. We saw Toyota was the most picked manufacturer last season. Obviously, it's in Asia, so being an Asian game, you would expect that. But regardless, it's very fast, very consistent. If you want to just turn up and get some good points because of the car that you have, Toyota's probably the way to go. Next up is the Mercedes AMG with 115 points. I love this car. It's stable, it's reliable, you know what you're getting with it. And like I've said before, if you are a new player coming into this, first FIAs, first sort of competitive racing, I think that Mercedes should be the one that you go for. Very solid in both Group 4 and Group 3, and they're both very fast as well. Plus, they sound fantastic. So if you just want to just mosey around at the back of the grid with a good freaking engine song on, this is the car for you. So into the top 5 now. Is your manufacturer in here? Ooh. Also on 115 points is the Mitsubishi, the Lancers. The reason that they are up here is because they are so reliable. Yes, I have said that about the Mercedes, but this is just some other level of stability. The comparison between the Group 4 and the Group 3 car is very, very similar. They complement each other very, very well. You can sort of take how you drive from one car and drive it in the other. Yes, they're not very fast on the straight lines, but like I've said before, racetracks have corners, and boy do they dominate in the corner. I'm not sure how they do on fuel, but I think the tyre wear is pretty average as well, but it's the consistency of the two cars that have put them in the top 5 position. In 4th place, the Cinderella story. The Cinderella story. It is the Hyundai with 116 points, just beating out the Mitsubishi and the Mercedes. And the reason is because of the Group 4 car. The Group 4 car was so insanely consistent, and it was fast as well. It's fantastic on the tyres, and it's fast. Group 4, one of the best Group 4 cars. We moved to Group 3. I think I underperformed when I drove it. I think it can be a lot faster. The tyre wear is very average, I think, maybe just above average, but the two working together have put it in the top 5. A lot of people said that it got a buff in the last update, and this might be true. I think we're going to see a lot of people trying out the Hyundai in the next manufacturer's season. Are you going to be one of them? Are you going to follow this? Are you going to go, oh, something new, it's had an update, it's been buffed, I'm going to go try it out. Who knows? It's top 4. It might pay off. In 3rd with 118 points is the Alpha. Yes, we know the Group 4 Alpha is fantastic. It's very good in the corners, and it's very, very good on tyre wear. Yes, it's not very fast in a straight line like the Group 3 version of it, but just in overall consistency, it really works well in Group 4. Yes, it is quite hard to handle. It doesn't handle like most of the other cars. You really have to kind of throw it into the corners. It's very similar to the Lamborghini. So there is that steep learning curve that comes with this Group 4 car. But I think if you master it, I think it's very, very good. The Group 3 is where it lets itself down a little bit. I didn't think it was that overly impressive, and the tyre wear was not as good as I was expecting. But still, very solid, very good in the corners, not fast in a straight line. Once again, I like the McLaren. If you want a challenge, I think Alpha is the way to go. I think the Alpha is the real small, plucky underdog. In 2nd, once again with rumours of there being buffs, the BMW. And this is the BMW M6, not the M3 or the Z4, even though the Z4 did pretty well. The M6 doesn't really shout about itself much, but my god, it's fast and it's solid. There are rumours of it being poor on fuel. I don't know, you're going to have to go test that out yourself. But regardless of the fuel, it's very, very fast and super consistent on its tyres as well. The Group 4 version as well, I'm not sure it was that great on tyres, but it was very, very fast. And there was a little, it was quite hard to handle, the Group 4 version. It was very similar to the way that the Lexus handles. But BMW, a massive, I think BMW are going to do very, very well this season. I think at the next national meeting, I think BMW have a very, very serious chance of winning it. You heard it here first. But there we go. In second, the BMW with 137 points. You can see how far it's jumped up. The Alfa had 118 points and the BMW had 137. So you can really see how far the top two jumped away. And in first with 141 points is the Mazda. We saw the Mazda win the Group 3, which obviously got an insane amount of points for. It's super fast and it's very good on tyre wear, making it a double threat. Then you move to the Group 4 version of it, and yes, it's not as fast. I think it was pretty mid-pack on its fastest lap time, but once again, super consistent on the tyres. This is why it is here. It ticks all of the boxes. Some people are saying that it's not as fast on the straight, but it's not as slow as, say, the Mitsubishi or the Alfa. It's super, super solid, super consistent, and I think that I really think people should choose the Mazda just because of its consistency and speed. But there you go. There is our top 25. It's been really, really fun doing this. Over the past 72 hours, I've probably spent 35 to 40 hours doing this, recording the stuff, testing the cars, editing the videos, uploading it, exporting it, adding the music to the back, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm really, really happy that I did. I think I've helped some people out there in the community sort of decide what car they want, and I hope this video does the same. With an added extra, the Jev team racing, we're gonna pick our manufacturer together out of the top 5 there. So we're all going to be in the same manufacturer, hopefully, which is going to be really, really cool. But I really, really hope that you enjoyed this little mini-series, and I hope that you choose correctly for the car that sort of suits your style. I know if we had more time, I would have been able to go into more detail maybe, but you know, it was sprung upon us, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to spend some time and I'm going to try and help as many people as possible. So I hope it helped you in picking your manufacturer. As always, stick around, watch the other videos. If we're live streaming Gran Turismo, pop in, let me know how you're doing. And you know, the GTS community is massive, and I'm looking forward to being an integral part of it in the future. So once again, thank you for watching, liking and subscribing. It's been fun, and I'll see you in the next one.